Hi, it's me, Vicki Marie, and sorry for bringing the time an hour forward, but what it was is I got this new computer today and I didn't know how long it would take to set everything up, and so I thought I'd better put it later. Anyway, I got it more or less set up a little bit earlier. Now, can you all hear me okay? Hi, everybody. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Carl. Hi, Lynn. Hi, David. Hi, Jill. Oh, there's quite a few of you. Jackie's there, I think. Let me see. Have I missed anybody out? You've got to excuse us. Did I say hello, Chumba? I think I did. The 4111. The 411 was here earlier. I don't know if she's still here. Vanessa. Thank you. Thank you for Rachel, Lynn. Oh, good, you can hear me. Because the thing is, now, honestly, gosh, I feel like a proper YouTuber now because I'm sat here. I've got this massive computer, which sounds if any of you are out there thinking you'd like a computer, or maybe you do streaming or you do things, and hi Sue, hi Blue Lavender, hi Maltese Cross, and you're thinking, because computers can be expensive. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Suji. My son found this on Amazon. It was 185 euros. It's a reconditioned, like computer and tower, etc. I don't really understand about computers. Hi, Pauline. Oh, did you have to say for loads of? Sorry. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Anna. Princess Tippy Toes, hi. So yeah, sorry if I miss anyone because there's quite a few of you here at the moment, which is brilliant. Thank you for being here. But yeah, so I thought, I've been looking at sort of laptops. I've got a laptop, but it's a really old laptop and it's really slow. And anyway, so my son found this computer online and he ordered one for himself. And I said, oh, if that works out okay. And his was 200 euros. And I said, oh, if that works out okay, I'm going to order one. I thought that was a really good price, for a computer. But it's not a brand new computer. It's been reconditioned, but it's, so I suppose it's an older computer, but they've put all the new things on it. Hi, Lara. And yeah, it's really good. The only problem with it is, where it's like when you get anything new and you're used to using whatever you're used to using. And I'm sat here, it looks massive. I mean, the reason I'm not actually showing my face tonight is not because I'm so tired like I was last night. It's because I haven't set up the webcam yet, because it hasn't, of course, got a... My son's making fun of me because I haven't had a proper, a computer for about 10 years. I've always had laptops, and laptops have a camera in them and they have all these things in them. So you don't have to worry about, so it's been a bit of a... It's been a set up on it. Also, it just looks massive. I'm sat here. Hi, Charlie. Just sat here with this massive screen in front of me, and then I've got my laptop at the side, so I'm like a proper streamer now. I've got two screens, and the laptop already looks tiny now compared to the computer screen. So I don't know how it's going to work. I hope it all works okay. It should certainly work a lot quicker. Also, the internet. My son also got me something that improves the speed of the internet. So hopefully everything will go okay. There shouldn't be any lagging in the streaming, etc. But you'll let me know. Let me know if there's any problems with it. What was the other thing I wanted to say before I started? Yes, they still haven't. Have you been watching this? Sorry, it's completely off subject, but it's been intriguing me, this submarine thing. These people that went down to look at the Titanic, and they've not been found yet. And I thought, oh my God, that would be my, these people were like millionaires or billionaires or whatever, and that would be the last thing I would want to do if I had loads of money. But it's very claustrophobic, isn't it, to be underwater and that. But anyway, hopefully they'll find them in time before the air runs out. David, yes, it's not the size, it's what you do with it. Yes, I'm not commenting on that. I know he's rude, isn't he? No, it's only a joke. But So that was one thing, right? So before I start, we're going to be talking. I'm going to be talking about what I think is Paul, PA, whatever you want to call it. Talk about the biggest mistake that I think he made, and that's what I'm going. That's the main focus of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. Oh, thank you. I'm getting better, Princess Tippy Toes, with my webcam. Because my son said to me earlier, "Oh, where's the camera?" And I'm going, "Camera? I haven't got a camera." I said, "Oh, do you mean the GoPro?" Because, do you know, I just can't keep up with all this technology. But hi, Mia. But I'm really trying because I do like, I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's a learning curve as well for me. It's always good to learn new things. You're never too old to learn new things. That is what I say to my students who come along to learn Spanish. You know, sometimes they think they're too old. You're never too old. It's good. It keeps your brain active. You should learn new things. No matter what age you are, as you go through life, anything you can learn. There are things that, you know, cost money. There are things that are free to learn. And you should always try and keep up, you know, try and learn new things. So yeah, so I'm going to be talking about Paul tonight. I just want to do my housekeeping, and look, I think what I'm going to do, because instead of because I'm on the avatar and I can't be holding up my books. For those of you who've heard it all before, just talk between yourselves. I know it must be boring to see it over and over again, but you know, it's just one of those things. I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. Yeah. Oh. Now I should be able to share. So this is the Amazon site. This is the UK Amazon site, but my books should come out on all Amazon sites, whether it's, you know, wherever you live, there's an Amazon site, isn't there? And these are my books. These are my Spanish books. If you want to learn Spanish, there's a level for you. I don't know why it goes 1, 4, 5, because there are actually a 2 and 3 as well, but for some reason you show it further down. So if you want to learn Spanish, there's the Break the Language Barrier series, which you can order on any Amazon site. If you want to know a little bit about me and my life, that's Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, which is available on paperback or Kindle. And then there's a couple of little, but this is one of my dogs, Rocky the Rebel. These little bilingual storybooks are about my real dogs, you know, Rocky the Rebel. This one is about my little dog she's no longer with us, and 2 dogs of a friend of mine, Duque El Rey, Peter El Tonto, Savanda Vacaciones. This is my son's dog, Princess Tia, also known as Big Rocky. That's the Kindle edition, but that's the story of when she escaped and had a trauma getting her back. But basically they're in Spanish and English, so they're for learning Spanish. Break the Language Barrier Level 3. There's the book, Princess Tia's Great Adventure, Level 2. And that's it. So yeah, if you're interested in any of those, you can get them on any Amazon site. Now then, let me go back. Where am I now? Yeah. And the other things, housekeeping wise, is the best thing you can do is like my videos. Please give me a thumbs up. If you give me a thumbs up, that is a brilliant help. That's a free way you can support my channel, or you can subscribe. Please subscribe if you know, you don't like it, if you don't like the videos after that, you can always unsubscribe. What's the other thing? So it's liking the videos, subscribe, sharing maybe the videos if you think anyone will be interested in them. And those are the free ways you can really help my channel. And then if you want to go a little bit further, you can either become a member, you can send me a super sticker, thanks, chat, these supers that you can send, or you can buy me a coffee. But the most important thing, to be honest, for me, is the liking the videos and the subscribing. Okay. What's Anthony been saying? Sorry, but. Get to the point, please. No, Anthony, you've got to have a bit of patience. You've got to have a bit of patience. You can always go make a cup of tea. Go make a cup of tea if you want. You know, it's like, you know, that's the way it is. You want me to get to the point, I'll get to the point, but basically, you know, I'll get to the point when I'm ready to get to the point. But anyway, never mind. Most people quite like, you know, the little bit of chatting, etc. So there you go. So what we're going to talk about tonight, just to keep Anthony happy because he wants to get on with it, is we're going to talk about what I think was Paul Ansell's biggest mistake. And, you know, I've been looking at everything, and obviously that very first interview that he did on the riverside where he burst into a grin, you know, that was a mistake, if you like, obviously. But I think the biggest mistake was the second interview that he did with Dan Walker. Because I think he probably did that to try and recuperate from the first mistake, which was the interview at the side of the river. And then, of course, he did the voice note to Sky News. And I think, and then he did the interview with Dan Walker. And I think all those were like PR exercises. The second two were like PR exercises to try and forget the first one, you know, where he smiled. It was that smile, wasn't it? I think until that smile on the riverbank, I don't think anyone was really thinking anything untoward about the partner, you know. Hi 4111, hi Debbie, and Lynn. I don't know if I said hello to you or not, but hi anyway. So you've not seen the first interview, Princess Tippy Toes? Well, it's on definitely on one of my videos. If you look at there's a playlist for the back to basics. As the inquest was coming up, and I started looking at things again because it's been so long now. I couldn't believe, you know, and I thought about this and I thought, gosh, that's February that we've heard nothing. And, you know, somebody was saying earlier, the inquest just seemed like an eternity away. And here we are, it's 6 sunrises now until the inquest. So we're going to see 6 sunrises. Hi, Julie. And then we're going to see something's going to happen in the inquest. You know, some people think it'll be a whitewash, or it'll be this, or it'll be that. But at the end of the day, we're going to get some information. Whether we agree with it or not, who knows? But because we just don't know, but we're going to get something. So I think until that first interview with Paul, no, I always try and think, well, because I don't like thinking badly of anyone. And at the end of the day, if Paul is completely innocent, I don't even mean about foul play, but even if he just treated Nicola so badly that she felt like she had to take herself off and do that, if he's not that terrible person, it must feel awful the way sort of all these aspersions have been cast against him. But then another thing I was thinking about, somebody mentioned the other day that we've all been saying this is unprecedented, isn't it, really? Probably the last time that we've seen a case like this where everyone was so sort of convinced that there was some foul play there or something didn't feel right was the McCanns, wasn't it? Was the Madeleine McCann case. And we had the case of was it Christopher Jeffries, who was falsely felt to be responsible for the death of Joanna Yates. And then it turned out it wasn't him at all. It was another neighbour, but it was just that he was a little bit odd. He was the landlord. He was a little bit odd, and, you know, the media sort of surrounded him and made him a bit of a scapegoat. But it wasn't for long. So the only thing I would say about that is very quickly it was determined that it wasn't Christopher Jeffries. So in this case, I think the silence, so this reminds me more of the Mitchell Quay case, which I've said so many times, and I've done a video on Mitchell Quay. When someone, you know, the police are gathering evidence and somebody people feel like someone's guilty, but nobody knew that he was, but everybody felt he was. And then it went on for so long that in the end people were starting to think, oh well, maybe he's not guilty, maybe he's not guilty, and of course it turned out he was. He wasn't with Mitchell Quay. He wasn't gosh, I've forgotten. Oh yeah, he wasn't sort of. His wife had disappeared, so there'd been no body found or anything like that. So in the first instance, obviously they always suspect the partner. That is just the way it goes. Even Paul says that in this interview that we're going to watch in a minute. But you know, eventually he sort of went through the bit where everyone thought he was guilty. Then eventually it went on for so long. It went on for so long that in the end people were starting to think, well, hang on a minute, maybe he's not guilty, but of course he was. But anyway, yeah, he was Chumba. He was a snake. He went on this morning. He got interviewed left, right, and centre. He was really caught in the media. He had a guy doing a documentary in his house. You know, he was full of it. He was so certain. But funny enough, it was him that cracked in the end because they never did find any evidence. They arrested him, but I think that was a bit of a gamble. When they finally arrested him, it was like a bit of a gamble to see if he would break down, and he did break down, but they had no evidence. Hi, Jackie, the other Jackie. Yeah, he kept getting in touch with the police as well, Jackie, because you can't hear with the aircon on. What you mean with your aircon on, Lara, or you can't hear because I've got the aircon on? Because I can turn it off, it's not a problem. Yeah, Jackie, Mitchell, because that's what they do. They interject when someone's guilty. They tend to interject themselves into the inquiry. Now I'm talking myself into it now, because every time I start to think, oh no, I shouldn't think bad, I shouldn't think bad, and then I watch these. This is why it's important to watch these interviews again, because then you have to remember why you felt like that in the first place. So that was the point that I was getting to. It's not every time that all the public start to make all these questions, and you know, it doesn't happen all the time. It happens rarely, and when it happens, it's normally for a reason. Now, if PA is completely innocent, and I mean, when by that I mean not only foul play, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about making someone's life so miserable, domestic violence, etc., that you push them to that limit. If your aircon can't hear yours. All right, okay. This case, as Jack says there, it is exceptional. It is exceptional. It's different from anything anyone's ever known, and that just in itself tells us something. All right, Rooster. Yes, that little video that the 411 showed. Yeah. Now I didn't notice that when they broke away, Paul's hands went to his woolly hat and pulled it. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? It's all well, right. So if Anthony is still here, he's probably gone now because he's got fed up. But I'm going to get to the point now. I'm going to look at the interview. Because this is something that I've not really looked at in any detail before. And this is what I think was Paul Ansell's big mistake, or worst mistake. He shouldn't have done this interview. I don't really know why he did the interview. Well, probably Emma told him to do it because she's there, isn't she, dictating everything. We'll see that as we go along. But it was a complete mistake because it got pulled to pieces, obviously. His demeanour was strange. His demeanour had already been strange on the riverside. Then he sent the voice note to Sky News, which again is covered in one of my videos on here. And then he did the interview with Dan Walker. I don't know what he was hoping to achieve with it. I can see how you would make a plea, you know, for, oh, come back home, or please, whoever's got Nicola, let her go, but it doesn't do any of that. So anyway, with no more ado then. Now, first of all, I want to give some credit to where I'm getting this interview from. This is Sentries, which is one of the any of you watch Super Chuffer? It's one of the Super Chuffer franchise. well, I say the Super Chopper franchise, but it is. He's got various channels and he puts various things on his channels. Lots of different stuff, not just about crime, Nicola Bulley, etc., but all sorts of sort of wonderful, weird and wonderful things. So I think whatever you're into, there is something on one of these channels for you because they are very eclectic. So, but what he did was have the presence of mind to record the Paul Ansell interview, and I'm going to present it on here, and we're going to look at it. You can give me your comments. I'll tell you what I think. Screen sharing, no, and let me know what the quality is like, and that because that's important, so that I know if the computer's good or not. Ah, there you go. I think it's a lot better than when I was doing it on the laptop. But anyway, we'll see. So yeah, let's have a look. Let's go back to the beginning. I've been having a look at it today and remembering, because we do forget. You do forget. Time goes on. You know, this has been, well, this was February when this interview was done. So you know, we're looking at 4 months ago. So that's a long time.
Today is 2 weeks since Vicki went missing. This might be a stupid question to start with, but how are you doing? What's life been like for the last 2 weeks?
Now, I think what Dan said there, it was a stupid question. How are you doing? You know, is it like, oh, how are you? You know, you just, I think Dan was disappointed, as much as I quite like Dan Walker normally. I think he was a bit disappointed in this interview because he just asked stupid questions. And then he gave Paul a lot of answers. You know, instead of just letting him answer, he sort of answered for him sometimes. Also, there's a lot of editing in this. So this is not, it'd be interesting to see the raw footage, you know, to see, because there's definitely times when it's edited and it makes you wonder, why did they stop and start again? But anyway.
Hell, I am still here, obviously. My main focus is the children, always has.
Yeah, so straight away he said, I'm still here, obviously. That was a little bit weird. And then my main focus is the children. He says that so often, and I know his children, obviously they are the main focus. Well, not the main, at this moment in time when Nicola's still missing, the main focus should be getting Nicola back. Right, I've got here, Charlie, you're saying sound is not good, and then you're saying sound is better. Is it okay? You can hear it and you can see it, yeah? Okay, right. Can I do it on here? No, I don't think I can. Okay, so yeah, I don't know, you just feel like if your partner was missing, would you, I know obviously the children are important, I'm not in any way, shape or form saying that they're not, but surely the main focus should be finding their mum. So yeah, we've got to bear in mind as we're watching this, because Nicola hadn't been found, and also it had not been announced about the problems that supposedly she had. Menopause, problems with alcohol or perimenopause, depression, etc. We didn't know anything about that. So when this video was made, we knew nothing about that.
So that's my focus that gets me through. But you know, I think when you're going through something like this.
See, when he shrugged his shoulder like that, a lot of, I mean, I'm not a body language expert. Apparently, people say that there are no such thing as a body language expert. You only know with intuition and, you know, experience. But I have seen, when I've watched some body language experts, that when you raise your shoulder, that's normally, let's have a look, that's normally
Children,
a sign of
always
life.
has been. So that's my focus that gets me through. But you know, I think when you're going through something like this, you can't put it into words. I can't say how I'm doing. I can't really explain it because it's not your average every day of the thing. You know, nobody knows really anybody who's ever gone through anything like this. Who knows anybody who knows anybody? So it's just an impossible situation for everybody. You know.
No, I agree with that. I think it'd be very, none of us, well, hopefully none of us, and hopefully we'll never find out what it feels like to go through. Oh, look, 10th of February this interview was, so a long, long time ago. None of us know how it would feel to go through this. I can only judge by what I've seen about other people with true crime things that I've watched where their partners have gone missing or their children have gone missing or a loved one of any kind has gone missing. They're different from this. When I look at it, and honest to God, I swear, Paul, if I'm imagining it, I'm so sorry. But he always looks to me like he's amused. His eyes look amused. And he's controlling his mouth so that he doesn't smile. He's obviously Emma said to him, whatever you do, don't smile. Now, sometimes I do it sometimes. People laugh, don't they, nervously. When they're nervous, they laugh inappropriately. I do think people do that. I think that's what Louise did, Nicola's sister, in her interview when she laughed. To me, but it felt like that to me. It felt like a sort of, God, I can't believe this is happening. With him, it's a little bit different. If you look in his eyes, I always think it's in the eyes. The eyes. He almost looks amused. And then, of course, he's got that we're not sure if it's a bruise on his eye or not. And then the control of his mouth, he's so controlled about everything he's saying that you can tell it's almost like he's thinking, don't fuck up, like Emma's probably told him, don't fuck up, don't say the wrong thing. Remember to say hope, because you didn't say hope in the first one. So he'll have been given a script of everything that he's got to say, and he's got to try and say it, but he's got to say it without smiling. But even there where I'm freezing, the thing he looks like he could almost break into a smile. Anyway, let me know what you think. I could be completely wrong.
Involved.
I think that's the thing, because it's hard to imagine what you're going through. Can you even put it into words for us, the sort of emotions that you're feeling at the moment?
Anger. Utter frustration.
Yeah, that to me was a real. Why is he feeling anger? Why anger? That's the last thing that you'd be feeling. Surely some of the other things he goes on to say, yes, you think, yeah, frustration, etc. So all those things. But anger, why would you be feeling anger? When your partner's gone missing, you're angry because you think she's done something, or where does the anger come from? I don't understand the anger. I really don't understand that. But
frustration, confusion, disbelief, surrealism. Nothing feels real.
I was going to ask you that. What feels like you're living someone else's life, or how does it feel?
It just doesn't feel real. Yeah, it's in the Truman Show. Well, I feel like I'm in the Truman Show.
Yeah, and this thing about the Truman Show, I mentioned this right back in February. The Truman Show is if any of you've seen it, the film, it's a really good film with Jim Carrey. But he is being watched. He doesn't know that he's actually on a TV program, and everybody is watching him, and everything is staged around him. So that to me is more like I think that whatever happened, I think Paul, he just can't believe that it's attracted so much attention. Now, when you look at that village, it's a tiny village, isn't it? Everything gets noticed there. I mean, you've probably sort of heard the news tonight that perhaps another YouTuber has been arrested. Again, because the thing is, you can't sneak around a village like that. You can't blend into the background, you know, because it's tiny. Everybody knows exactly what's going on and who's there. Only take a car that's not normally there, or a face that's not, you know, you stand out like a sore thumb if you're not from the village. My village is a little bit like that, though. I think my village is bigger. Yeah, I live in a small village, but I think it's bigger than that one. You know, I just think that, God, you'd only have to walk along the street and people would know that you weren't from there straight away. So, you know, I think that's what's taken everybody by surprise there, is how it has captured not only national attention, but international attention. So all the, you know, they probably don't know what's hit them. So I think that's what he means by the Truman Show there. The Truman Show is when all the cameras are on you, you know, and that's what I think he means by that. But anyway, that sort of makes sense. I expect he does feel like he's on the Truman Show.
Like, I honestly believe I'm going to wake up at any moment. Yeah, it's just, I was just talking to Louise before, you know, Nicky's sister, and we just say the same thing every day. Just, how are we even in this? You know, we're good people. We are good people. We try.
Yeah, I don't like that. We're good people, you know, but bad things happen to good people. They do. And see his face there, see his eyes. Gosh. I feel like I'm being horrible now, because I was determined to try and watch this, as I always do. Every time I watch this, think, right, watch it, don't judge, don't try and leave behind, you know, look at it in a different way. But I think it's his eyes, and then he's quite red in the face, isn't he? Anyway, not that that means anything, I suppose.
Try to live the best life that we can, do the right thing by everybody. You appreciate the small things.
Yeah, we appreciate the small things, and then he shakes his head. I don't think he does appreciate the small things, but anyway. The other thing is, I don't think I would ever say, it's almost like he's saying, well, we don't deserve this. Other people might do, but we don't, because we're good people. And why, you know, I don't think I would ever think like that, because, you know, nobody deserves it. Not only you, who doesn't deserve it. So nobody deserves it. And, you know, yeah, I think you're right, old bod. Narcissists do say things like that. Is there anybody on this chat who actually does know him? You know, I mean, I've never actually, I don't think I've ever actually sort of seen anyone, not only on this chat, but on any chat or Facebook group or who that I think actually knows him as a real person. But, you know, because that is, of course, the problem. We don't have a measurement. You know, if you know somebody and then they start acting weird. Do you remember the neighbour in Chris Watts, when the neighbour was showing the CCTV that had got, and Chris Watts couldn't believe it because he didn't realise that there was CCTV, and the neighbour said to the policeman, he's never normally as talkative as this, you know, there's something wrong here. We don't have that that measurement, that stick to measure him with, because we don't know what he's normally like. Maybe he's always like this. So, you know, maybe if somebody was watching him who'd known him, they would think, oh, well, that's just Paul, that's just the way he talks. We don't know that. We don't know what he's normally like. So if anybody does know him, or did know him, or used to know him, and wants to comment on, you know, is this how he normally is? And, you know, is it just the way he is? You
know what I mean? It just, this is the kind of thing that you see on the telly in dramas and stuff like that.
You said that your main priority was the girls. Can I ask you how they're doing? Because, you know, you're missing the woman that you love, but they're missing their mum. And the questions they must be asking you are heartbreaking at the moment.
Yeah, it's impossible. Any parent knows, you know, that
I see when he touched his nose there, you see, I've been watching, you know, because I was in Pride of Luge last week and I've been looking a lot at the Madeleine McCann case. There's so many times that Jerry McCann, when I know or I feel that he's telling a lie, he goes straight for his nose like that, rubs his nose. I don't think really that Paul takes the children's feelings into account.
And the questions they must be asking you are heartbreaking at the moment.
Yeah, it's impossible. Any parent knows, you know, that all you want to do is make everything better for your children, isn't it? You know, whenever they're worried or they're scared or anything like that, you want to make it better for them. And I can't do that. So all I can do is be as strong as I can so that they don't see the level of like worry on my face. Reassure them as much as I can with, you know, with what.
Yeah, now so he almost sneers then. Look at his face there. He's like, yeah, oh gosh, it's so difficult because this part of me, my heart goes out to him because I think if that's, you know, if he really has got nothing to do with anything that's happened to Nicola, that must be heartbreaking to have to, you know, try and deal with your children who are asking you where their mum is, etc. And then I can feel like that, and then I see like that, and that expression on his face, and the sort of sneer, and then I think, no, it's very confusing, you know.
What we know, which isn't much, and then try and distract them, you know, so that their mind's not focused on it. I find that's the best way of doing it.
They need hope,
yeah,
and you've got to hold on to that as tightly as you can.
Yeah, so here comes the hope. So the hope is mentioned over and over again after that first disastrous interview where he forgot to mention hope. We can also see this is where Willow comes into the picture, and Willow is immediately comfortable with Dan. Now, I know that sometimes when different people are around you, dogs will go off and sit with them rather than sit with you because they're much more interested in you because they see you every day and they're like, no, I'm going to go and sit with this new person. And obviously, Dan seems to be a dog person. Willow straight away wants to go and sit with him. Your heart breaks for Willow as well because Willow can't even express how she feels, but she must be missing Nicola so much, really. Yeah, so we'll see anyway what happens now.
Every time they ask you where mummy is, how does anybody even convey that to?
See, as soon as when Dan says mummy, they ask you where mummy is, Willow looks straight at Paul. I mean, that struck me so much the first time I watched it. It was like Willow looked, yeah, where's mummy? Where's mummy? But you know, maybe it's just, oh yeah, where is mummy? You know, but she definitely. Let's see if we can just see that again.
They need hope.
Yeah,
and you've got to hold on to that as tightly as you can. Every time they ask you where mummy is, how does anybody even convey that to when you're going through it as well?
I wish dogs could talk.
Again, it's just an impossible situation. The only thing that I can do is tell them that everybody is looking for mummy. The best people like in the world are looking for mummy. Just to give them that, you know, that level of hope that they can understand that everything that can be done to find mummy is being done.
I think for the vast majority of people watching on,
I'm not quite sure why this video is cut so often. There are so many cuts you can see. You know, will that be Emma in the background going, oh, no, let's do that again, let's do that again. There are a lot of cuts and it's not a natural video. It reminds me of the McCann's videos, actually, because don't forget, whenever any of these people are interviewed on camera, it is scripted. It is scripted. It's not spontaneous. and it will be shot again if somebody's not happy with it or whatever. It's rare that it is spontaneous. Well, especially in a sit-down situation like this, it definitely will have been quite heavily edited. So.
Nikki is a face on a poster at the moment. Tell us a bit about her. You know, what's she like?
She is fun. She is loving. She is, if you're friends with her, she is the most loyal friend that you could ever have. You know, with Nikki, what you see is what you get. There's no nothing's hidden. You know, it's all.
Now, is it just me, or do you feel like he's like there's this sort of, he wants to smile, but he can't quite, so I don't know, but it's almost like this suppressed smile, because Dan has asked him, what's Nikki like, hasn't he? What's Nikki like? And I just had a quick look at it. Sorry, I can see, yeah, Willow is hot and she's panting, but you know, also that's a sign of anxiety in dogs when they're panting as well and yawning. Paul looks extremely red-faced, so maybe the heat, you know, it's either, there's a few things that it could be. He's had a little drink, and you know what, who can blame him? I mean, my God, you know, it's probably a bit nerve-wracking. You know, if you think the best of him, maybe that was a bit nerve-wracking, a little drink for confidence. But looks very red, doesn't he? Very red-faced. Maybe he's hot, but then why doesn't he take his shirt off? Why is he's got a T-shirt on underneath it? But anyway, I don't know. But yeah, maybe it is very hot in the room. Gosh, that every time you pause the video, you catch strange glimpse of Paul. You know, it's his eyes, you know, it's always in the eyes. Look at the eyes, he looks a bit, but is it because somebody suggested once when I did one of these that maybe he was on some tranquilizers or something, which he may be, you know, to help him cope, to keep him calm. He may be on some sort of tranquilizers, because there's definitely something going on.
The most loyal friend that you could ever have. You know, with Nikki, what you see is what you get. There's no nothing's hidden. You know, it's all.
That just felt forced to me. That do you see? He was saying that through gritted teeth, definitely.
That's her, and she is an exceptional mum, and she absolutely, you know, adores our girls. Goes above and beyond. I was saying to Emma.
Yeah,
the other day, I don't think that she's been away from them like for more than like 1 or 2 nights, you know, since you know we've had, you know, our eldest. And
now he doesn't ever actually say, he mentions the girls a lot, it's all about the girls, isn't it? But he doesn't say she's a fantastic partner, girlfriend, I love her so much. You know, when Dan, if somebody, if those of you out there with a partner, men or women, somebody asks you what your partner was like, would you oh yeah, you would probably say, oh, she's a great mother or he's a great father, but you would also talk about your relationship with them, how they were as a partner. Paul doesn't say, oh, she's a fantastic partner or fantastic girlfriend or you know, I just love her so much and we just love being together. It's all about how it relates to the children, not how their particular relationship. I wonder if it will all come out, if it will come out in the inquest. You know, were they actually still together? Had they argued? Had they split up? Or were they on the verge of splitting up? You know, these are some of the rumours. And then, of course, to me, a big question is why we never ever saw a joint press conference, if you like, or a joint thing with the family. And when I say the family, I don't mean Emma, who was always describing herself as the family. I mean the family as in Dot and Ernie and Louise. There was never, you never see them together with Paul. Strange that, isn't it? You know, any other case that I've ever seen, the family, the mother, the father, any siblings, would always be there being interviewed along with the partner, unless they felt like the partner had actually done it.
she's a pillar of strength, you know, to our family, and without her.
See, that was the other thing. Now, again, remembering that this was before any information came out about her being perimenopausal and having alcohol problems, etc., and depression. This is where we called her a pillar of strength. And I know that people with alcohol problems, sometimes it can still be a pillar of strength in the family and hold things together. And that's how the alcohol helps them to do that. But it just seems funny to me that he would say that, and then it turns out that actually she's a very vulnerable person. But nobody had said this up to now. Don't forget, it's quite a long time before that was ever mentioned. It was only, gosh, was it? It was before a body was found, wasn't it? But it was, when the police decided when Rebecca Smith decided to do that press conference, because, you know, they were realizing they were losing control of the narrative, you know, that everything was just going crazy, really. So they did the press conference and made it worse then, because that was the first time that they mentioned these vulnerabilities. So when Paul did this interview, we didn't know anything about the vulnerabilities. They'd never been mentioned. He's saying she's the rock that holds their family together at this point.
You know, the whole is, bigger than you could possibly imagine.
He shrugs the shoulder again.
Finished 2 weeks ago. Now, her partner Paul talked to me earlier today. We're showing his interview throughout the programme for you tonight. He spoke in depth about the day Nicola went missing.
Can I
this
ask you
is
to
not my
take us
fault.
back
We said
to
it in
2 weeks today, that morning of Friday, the 27th
Got a
of
little bit
January?
of twins there.
Was it a normal morning like any other?
You're totally normal. So the only difference that morning was, usually, when you've got children, getting up on a school day, you probably know yourself, is just mayhem, isn't it?
Carnage, yeah.
Yeah, absolute carnage. So the only difference on that morning 2 weeks ago was that there wasn't a lot of rushing. I came down and a lot of stuff was already done. It was...
I thought this was a curious thing to say. So that morning there was no rushing, everything was already done. Just made me feel like that's because Emma was organising it all, but it couldn't have been, because I think surely the children would have said if it wasn't their mum that took them to school. But just a funny thing to sort of point out. I don't know. The only difference that morning was that everything was done. It was much calmer than normal.
The girls were having a breakfast and everything was pretty much ready to go. I came down, Nikki went upstairs to get ready. And then, the routine is basically if Nikki's taking the girls and Willow, when I hear her come down, I'll get them in the car, get them strapped in, get Willow in the boot and all that. And
I wonder if they had an argument that morning. He's thinking about it. He's going into that sort of distant place where he's thinking about it, what happened, what he should say, etc. You feel like he's got a different sort of vision there in his eyes. And of course, I think David just mentioned in the chat there, that again, we mustn't forget, he sent the CCTV, supposedly of that morning, to a true crime channel. Not to the police, but that's evidence. That's evidence. Whether you think of it as a crime or not, it's still a case until the coroner decides exactly what happened. This is a case, it's an ongoing case that's being investigated one way or another. And he sent that CCTV to a true crime channel. And also, even more suspicious is, what was the point of it? Because it just showed, really, him standing by the car. You couldn't see the children were supposedly in the car, but you couldn't see them. It showed Nicola getting into the car, but it didn't show her driving off. I mean, for all we know, she might have driven forward. I don't know if you know. That's the sort of thing I might do when I'm having an argument with someone. You sort of stomp out, you get in the car, you drive off, you drive a foot, Then you stop and you get out and give him another going, you know, like have another bit of an argument with him. That might have been, or she might have got out the car and said, oh, you take them. You know, we just don't know. So we never saw her drive off. We didn't see him go back into the house. So that CCTV really was just to show that he was stood next to the car. But we don't know what happened after that. She might have got back out the car and he might have gone and driven the children to school. We just don't know because we never saw the car drive away. We just saw that moment in time that he wanted us to see. And that's why he picked that true crime channel to show it.
Nicky comes out, give her the keys, and off they go.
It's a well-oiled machine normally. And sometimes you walk the dog and take the kids to school, and on that morning it was Nicky's job.
Yeah, and then if it's my job, usually the roles are reversed. Yeah. So yeah, again, it was just nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was normal. You know, because my working hours, because I work for a US firm.
Yeah, there goes the nose again. Look at him rubbing at his nose, and he's looking at him to see if he's believing what he says. I work for a US firm. Does he? I mean, you know, does he? I don't know. He tells us he does. Then he rubs his nose. And it's been very difficult to find out exactly who he works for and what hours he does, etc. It's all the mystery. They can say what they like. If this case wasn't so mysterious, if there wasn't so much conflicting information, people wouldn't be speculating about everything. People are speculating for a reason, not just because they feel like it.
So my hours are like 6 hours behind UK time. So I don't usually start work till a bit later in the morning. So
you see, that's funny. He says I start working a little bit later in the morning, but then he said he goes to the gym. So what does he do? He starts work, he does an hour's work, and then he goes off to the gym. You know, when does he put in a day's work? Very odd.
When Nicky takes the girls to school, I then know that I've got like an hour to myself on that morning when she takes them. So I always quite look forward to that, you know, because I wave them off and then I go in the house and I put the kettle on, make a cup of tea, and I think, right, I've got an hour.
Bit of peace. So at what point do you think?
Yeah, a bit of peace. That's probably when he meets up with, you know, that did occur to me that might. What occurred to me that may have happened is, let's suppose Nicola did go off with the children. Normally she walks Willow, etc., for about an hour. If Paul had somebody in the house, probably Emma, of course. Now this is my opinion. It's not even my opinion. This is just something I'm musing about that could possibly have happened. Now that was a freezing cold morning, so Nicola could have gone out for, oh my God, this is too cold. I just literally let Willow do a very basic, you know, what she had to do, and instead of doing the walk that she would normally do, just thought, oh, I think I'll just go home and get warm, and then, you know, came home unexpectedly and found him in a compromising position. That's a possibility, isn't it? Because whatever the police say, gosh, it would be so interesting to see what comes out at this inquest, because the police keep saying we've got no proof that Nicola left the river, but I don't know what proof they have that she ever went to the river. Where's the proof that she actually went there in the first place? We haven't seen any proof. They said, you know, so somebody saw her, but we don't even know who saw her. You know, was it Emma? Was it, you know, just tell us what's happened. You want us to stop speculating, you've got to tell us what happened.
King, something's not right here. When did it feel, where's Nicky? What at what point did that kick in?
So she's usually back like 9:45 average, 10 o'clock. You know, at a push. So I'd gone up into the office at 10, thinking that she'd be back in a minute. So I logged on. I was just going through some emails and stuff, you know, setting my day up. And
so he's gone into the office at 10, but he was planning on going to the gym at 12. So he doesn't work many hours, does he?
It got to say 10:15, and that's when I thought, you know, she's later than usual, but I still wasn't like particularly worried because she has come back at 10:15, 10. sometimes. Like you might just get talking to Emma
Yeah.
or
Find
another
a friend on a
mum.
dog walk. Yeah.
Yeah, or anybody. So, you know, it's not.
She's obviously right there directing everything, because he's often turns to Emma and indicates towards her.
Often, but she has got back at about 10:15, 20 past 10. So again, I wasn't like massively concerned or anything. Then it got to 10:30, and that's when I thought, you know, she's, you know, quite late now, more late than usual. So I tried ringing her phone, and there was no answer. I tried ringing her on WhatsApp.
Yeah, so he tried ringing her phone, and there was no answer. So he tried on WhatsApp, but that's still on her phone, isn't it? And there was no answer. You know, it's exactly the same. Doesn't matter, you know, if you ring someone on their phone, their actual number, or you ring someone on WhatsApp, which is free. So you know, we all use WhatsApp now, don't we? What's the difference between those two things? There is no difference. I'm trying to think what I would do. What would you do? So you thought, well, why aren't you home yet? Your partner's normally home, say, at 10:15, and then by now it's 10:15. So yeah, you'd be thinking, well, why aren't you then? You would ring them. Let's see what he says next. What would you do then when you still didn't get an answer? I'm trying to think what I would do. I would, well, I'd keep, at first you wouldn't worry, would you? Because you'd think, oh, maybe they're chatting to someone, or it depends. Some people always answer their phone, don't they? There are some people that, you know, if you ring them, because you know, especially if you know that they're out walking a dog, they're not actually at work, or you know, driving or whatever. You would expect them to answer. There's other people that rarely answer, or you know that they're probably not attentive to the phone or whatever. You wouldn't worry so much if they didn't answer. But I think really we can gather from what we know about Nicola, she always had a phone with her, and if she could have possibly answered, she would have answered. So I think I would then, with him there, I would think maybe she was driving. Now, do we know? Is it just me? I still don't know where the car was parked. Was it parked in the pub car park? Was it the Grapevine pub? Is that where it was parked? Have we actually been told for certain where the car was found? Where was the car found when he went and picked it up, or well, he did go and pick it up, didn't he? And where were the car keys? Apparently, I heard that the car keys were with Nicola, you know, when she was found. But has that actually been confirmed? You know, this is what I mean. You hear all these sort of rumours, but I'd like to hear it. Will we get that at the inquest? Oh yes, she was found the keys. You know, you feel like it's all conjecture. I still, after all the research that I've done, and I've done a lot, I still don't know really where the car was parked. If anyone can help me with that, let me know.
And again, there was no answer. I tried the mobile again, and no answer. So I couldn't get her. I started to get a bit.
So why does he say, I tried to ring her, no answer. I tried to WhatsApp, no answer. So I tried the mobile again, no answer. But WhatsApp is on the mobile as well. It's all the same device. Surely she didn't have more than one device, did she?
A bit panicky, I think. So that's when I thought, right, I'm going to have to go down there and see if she's all right. You know, see if I can see the car, or you know, see what's going on. But I still expected that I'd just get there and just, oh, there she is, you know. So I go to the gym on a Friday lunchtime. So I quickly got my gym stuff on, because I just thought, basically, I'm going to go out.
Sorry, I mean, I shouldn't laugh, you know, but this, every time I hear this, I just think, it's the way he says it. Oh, so I got my gym stuff on quickly, because I thought I'd just find her and then go off to the gym. He's only done 45 minutes work so far. He's literally logged onto the computer, answered a few emails or whatever, and then he's getting ready to go to the gym. I mean, does he ever actually do any work? That's not like my days, put it that way. Very strange.
And come home, do a bit of work.
Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, lunchtime, go to the gym. We're going to leave, and then the phone rang, and it was the school, and it was the receptionist at school, and she said, "Mr. Ansell, it's a bit of a weird one." Hello. So it's a bit of a weird one, but we found Willow and
So this is where he tries to get Willow to come and sit with him, and I think Emma's probably there shoving Willow towards Paul. Paul's trying to get hold of Willow. Willow don't want to know, and I still think I don't know if you've seen my video that I did about Willow's testimony. To me, Willow is so key, because I know just from having dogs and from experiences that I've had, and not only me, but things, there was something that Peter Folding was saying in one of his interviews when a man had gone into the river and got into difficulties and drowned, unfortunately. One of these van lifer guys living in his van, and he decided to have a swim at night in the river or wash in the river. And his dog, now this is when I get upset thinking about it again. When they knew exactly where he would be, where his body was, because the dog was sat at the side of the riverbank, howling. To me, Willow, I just think if Nicola would have actually gone into the river there, Willow would not have moved, and she would have gone in for a start. At the end of the day, she's a water dog who loves swimming. She's not a dog who doesn't like swimming. So there's that. She would have either gone in, or she would have sat on the riverbank and howled. If anything would have happened to Nicola there, where Willow was, she would have sat there and howled and cried. I'm 100% convinced of that. And as I said in another video, because my ex-partner, and when he unalived himself, the dog, our dog, just never left his side, and the police couldn't even get to him. It was a poodle, a little miniature toy poodle, and the police he was guarding him, and howling at the top of his voice, and that's how the police found where he was. This is what dogs do. When their owners leave this world, the dog knows, and that dog would have been crying by the waterside. So I really I think we've all more or less come to the conclusion. We know that it didn't happen at the bench. That is just not where it happened. So we'll see what happens, what they decide at the inquest, but I can't see. And then just seeing how Willow is with Paul. Willow doesn't like Paul, or maybe she's a bit scared. She's a bit scared of him, or maybe she's heard that. Thing is, if they've had arguments and fights, the dog will know, will be a bit scared of him. I mean, he's all sort of sweetness and light now, isn't he? But I can see looking at him, he's got a temper, hasn't he? He has got a temper. These are just, again, in the eyes, and I'd be he's all soft-spoken, he's all this, that, and the other. But I bet he's not always like that. Sorry, Paul. If you're watching this, I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. I feel like you've got a temper.
Nicky's phone on the bench, and the harness halfway down the embankment on the floor. So,
you're already worried at this point.
Yeah, because I'm just about to leave, so I've got my gym stuff on. Okay, I'm about to leave, thinking that.
My dog loves me so much. Honestly, God, he comes and cuddles up to me, and he'll sit sort of on the footstool and sort of lean on me. And my dogs, they're a little bit. They're not big dogs, but they're a little bit too big to be like. They're similar size to Willow, probably, maybe a little bit littler, smaller. And my dog there, he'd be turned round, he'd have his head on my knee there, and he'd just snuggle up into me, like he did with Dan. That's what he did with Dan. Now this dog now, Willow, she doesn't want to know. She's like, he's got to put his hand on her to stop her from running off.
I'm gonna see her, pass her, get there and find her. Then I get that call, and in an instant,
Willow,
it's like your whole.
Of course.
Because I knew straight away that it wasn't normal. You know what I mean? Like, because I said, well, where is she? And like, well, they can't find her. So I also know that she would never in a million years leave Willow. Like, Willow is like our third child.
I don't think he's like her third child, maybe, but I don't think she's really like your third child.
So I know, like, she'd never, like, the fact that Willow's just in the field on her own, off the lead, obviously extremely concerning. So obviously, I'm just in a mad panic then, because I got hit by that weird. It's like your world just drops out because something's weird has happened. So I got in the car, drove down there, ran down the river to where the bench is. Somebody had Willow, and obviously there was a few other dog walkers there and stuff like that. Handed me Willow, handed me Nicky's phone. I still expected, obviously, to just have a look around and, there she is, or there she is. So, we're all looking. I'm like walking off into the field that way, like looking around the corners, looking over the hedge, looking over the stile, and, nothing. But I'd rung 999 on the way because I obviously knew something was wrong. So the police rang me then while I was at the bench and said, look, you've got to get home because the police are going to be coming to your house. We need somebody at your house. You get home, the police are on the way there. So I'd rung the police at I think about 10 to 11, and they were there. Like, they got there at 25 past. So they were there, really, really quick. So I then, I'd gone home then, taken Willow back. Police officer would come to the house. And, although I was obviously extremely worried and concerned, I still expected at any second to just go, oh, we found her, we've...
Yeah, that's the funny thing that he does when he goes, oh, we found her. Like, it's like if he's holding a phone to his ear or whatever. Yeah, he just acts so odd. Now, bearing in mind, no tears. There hasn't been one tear. Not through his first interview, not even when he phoned up with the voice note to Sky News, which sounded like he was reading off a script, not crying. He at least he's not pretending to cry, I suppose, but he's not, there's not one tear. So his partner's disappeared. He's not even filling up. He's not like his voice breaking with emotion and he's trying to control it. There is nothing, nada, no emotion, is there? How could you, you'd have to be really good at controlling your feelings to have no emotion, no feelings, no tears. And his eyes they are cold, aren't they? Look, I'm talking myself into it again. I was determined to watch this and be sort of nice, but eyes are very cold.
We found her here or whatever. And that, that never happened. Like, that was just the day then just spiraled, and end of the day came and no answers. Here we are, 2 weeks later.
We'll hear the truth.
What do you think might have happened?
We've always tried to keep all options open because we don't want to shut down any avenue. We've always been very careful that we don't want...
Yeah, who is we? When he's saying we've always tried to be very careful because we don't want to leave any... I don't know who we is because you never see him with the family talking.
To say, oh, we think it's that, and then push that when it might not be. The most obvious thing, of course, has always been the river. It's always been my gut instinct and her sisters and family that that isn't the case.
Yeah, he says, my gut instinct and her sisters and the family. Well, why doesn't he say on her parents as well? Do you think there is some truth in this, that some people are saying that, you know, there is a rift there, and at the end of the day, the parents want to see the girls. Who are the girls with? You know, I actually don't know that either, because there was one interview where Emma said clearly, oh, we want to get those girls back to Paul, you know, as if the girls weren't with Paul. So are the girls with Paul, or are the girls with the grandparents, or where were the girls? Gosh. The mind boggles in the end with this.
Extensive searching, you know, is probably well aware has gone on in that river.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they were in there.
there.
You know, I mean, I have to categorically say I cannot fault the police in any of this. They have been incredible, and the relationship that we have working on this is very, very strong. It's very good. So that this isn't any criticism of them at all. I want to make that clear. But the fact that they were in the divers and underwater rescue team and all that were in that river on the day, and
How could they not have found Nicola on that first day she'd gone into the river there? How could they not have found her? I think everybody really, and I'm not talking about me, you know, just like I'm talking about experts, and not only Peter Folding, I'm talking about all the experts that were called out on that first day and searched the river, and the police and the divers and the dogs. How could no trace of Nicola be found? It's virtually impossible, isn't it? And then Peter Folding just compounded it, really. And, you know, I said, I would have, I know, you know, it's easy to say when it's not you, but I know for a fact, if that would have even been my dog in that water, I would have been wading through that river. And if the police didn't want me to do it and they were telling me not to do it, they would have had to put me in handcuffs to stop me from wading through that river and checking every part of it that I possibly could. They wouldn't have been able to stop me. They might have tried, you know, and I would have, all right, I would have gone with them if they was, but you just couldn't have stopped me. And if they might have stopped me in the daytime when they were there, I would have gone back later at night. You couldn't rest. You could not rest. And I'd say, even if it was my dog that I thought had gone into the water, never mind my loved one, you would not have kept me out of that river, searching day in, day out, everywhere. And, you know, people say, oh, he's got the girls to look after. There's always someone, like there was the grandparents. You leave the children with the grandparents. You would not have stopped me. I don't think he looked very hard, did he? That's something else that I've remembered now. When did he look?
thankfully found absolutely nothing in the part where you would, I guess, have to presume is her last known location. If you take all those things into account, the unlikeliness of it, you know, you would have to sort of say that really the river isn't what happened. And so we always felt that the mobile phone and the harness and everything, it could possibly be a decoy. Again, we don't have evidence.
No, but these are things that you naturally would think.
Yeah, so actually it was Paul who put, you know, he's talking about it being a decoy. It feels to me like in the beginning he was trying to say it was, you know, it was all looking towards it was in the river. Then it got to this point, didn't it? And then he was saying, no, it definitely wasn't the river, and that was a decoy, and this was a decoy. And then he goes on, we'll see it now in this interview, he goes on to say once all the buildings searched and all this searched and that searched, it was almost then he was trying to lead them away from the river, and then lo and behold, up she pops in the river.
Think about, because, you know, the team's call was still active at the time, wasn't it? And the Willow's harness is on the floor, and you know, I'm sure these are things that constantly you're thinking about.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, like, the only thing we're bothered about is finding her. Like, there's nothing else matters. That's the only thing that we're bothered about, is just finding her. So, you know, it's of course you're going to be thinking these things. And so the more searching of the river that went on, the more confident we were that it wasn't the river. You know, especially things like, again, you know, it's not nice talking about it, but at the same time, we've taken hope from it. The fact that
No, I just want to say it's such a beautiful place and it's so tragic. And that somebody, I think it was on one of my, somebody made a comment that, I don't know if it was on a Facebook post or whatever, I saw a comment, now that the nice weather's coming and everything, those were those lovely photos of Nicola that were on her Facebook page, etc., with the sun and, you know, the blue skies and the clouds scudding and Willow in the river, etc. And she should be enjoying that now, shouldn't she? She should, no, we shouldn't be awaiting her inquest on Monday. She should be out walking Willow in this beautiful countryside, etc. It's so sad, you know. And I was thinking today, one of my students was saying they were going to go to a birthday party, and it was a 100th birthday party. So somebody who's made it to 100 years old. And I mean, gosh, it's amazing, isn't it, really? Especially if they still feel like having a birthday party. So they'll have been born in 1923. And it just set me off thinking, things set me off thinking sometimes, musing how, if you do, you know, people moan about getting old and stuff like that, but, you know, that is a privilege. Getting old is a privilege because so many people are taken young and younger than Nicola. Some, you know, some babies don't even make it. You know, there's so many tragic, you know, not everybody gets a chance to live their life. And every day is a blessing. Every hour is a blessing because you just never know. And Nicola is not there to enjoy the summer this year that she enjoyed last year, I hope. Well, she seemed to anyway on the pictures and everything. So, but we just have to take one day at a time, and we have to count our blessings every morning when we wake up in the morning and we start our day. And yeah, it might be a bad day sometimes. Sometimes we have bad days, sometimes we have good days. But just the fact that we've got a day, we can always find some positivity in our days. We should be grateful for every moment that we have. Sorry, I'm lecturing now. I don't mean to do that, but it did occur to me today. And when I see this lovely greenery, I just think how sad, you know.
No item of clothing or anything has been found anywhere where you would have thought something, you know, would have,
Something might have been found, yeah.
yeah, and absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So
that was another edit there again. All this editing. Now, do we think this is a bruise on his eye? I want to mention that now because, of course, we don't, you know, we don't see Paul now, so we don't know. Has that mark disappeared? Or maybe that's a mark he always had. Maybe it was never a bruise. Maybe he's just got that you know, some people have indentations in their face or whatever, you know, that might be just part of his normal face. But we don't have really, again, we don't have a yardstick to compare it from before. And because we never see him now, we don't know if that's disappeared or if it's still there. And that would tell us whether it was a bruise or not.
for me, personally, and again, this is just my opinion, I'm 100% convinced it's not the river. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So he's 100% convinced it's not the river. Well, he would know probably.
And I suppose the question after that is, what then? And and the difficulty is you allowing your mind to think where she might be and what's happened to her, which is horrible as well, I imagine.
Yeah, it's horrendous because people don't just vanish into thin air. It's absolutely impossible. So something has happened. Something has happened. Find out what it is. Find out what it is. There.
Yeah, I found that a little bit aggressive when he said that. It's like something has happened. Find out what it is. Find out what it is. It's like a challenge. that he's laying down.
Has to be a way to find out what happened. There has to be. You cannot walk your dog down a river and just vanish into thin air. Something happened that day. Something. Find out what it is. And my plea now is, personally, I want every house, every garage, every outbuilding, the land scrutinised. I want it all searched. I want it all scrutinised. Every piece of it. And
Yeah, so he's gone from Mr. Meek, like Mr. Man Baby, and then suddenly he goes into sort of Mr. Assertive. I want it all searched. You know, it's quite strange how he changes personality.
you're not gonna appease me with anything else. That is what I want to happen, because for something to have happened there, it's not many. You would only know that area by local people. It's a local area. We walked down there for years, and I mean years. You see the same faces every single day, and on the very odd occasion when you see somebody that you don't know, they stand out like a sore thumb.
Oh, that's what I was just saying earlier. That's it. You know, gosh, look at his face there. Look at his eyes. But I think that's true. I don't think you could blend into that village, could you? You know, if you wanted to go there and be inobtrusive, it's just not going to happen, because I expect there's like, alarm bells go off as soon as it's like a stranger in the village. There was a film years ago, I don't know if any of you have ever seen it, American Werewolf in London, and they walked into this sort of pub in the middle of nowhere. I always imagined this pub will be like that in St. Michael's on the Wire. You'd walk in and, the locals, they were playing darts and they were throwing darts, and suddenly they turn around and it's like, oh my God, a stranger's walked into the pub. It's because it's just not a place that strangers go to. It's not like a city. It's not a tourist place where there's all different people coming and going. Maybe in the summer with the caravan park, we see a few different faces. But generally, I should, and especially in the winter, gosh, if you didn't, if you weren't from that area, they would know. Gosh, I'm getting a bit hypnotised by Paul's eyes here. See these eyes there? But anyway, yeah, very contemptuous.
And I think that's an important point to make, because there might be some people watching this thinking, why are you doing this? Why are you talking to us? And the reason you're doing that, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is because you feel that somebody out there knows something, and that's the appeal that you're trying to make. Yeah,
definitely. And I'm just pleading with them, just please, anything, no matter how tiny, just please, just come forward with it, please, because that could be the key to finding her. And as a family, we're not bothered about anything else. Like, there's nothing else. The only thing is we just have to find her.
You told us a bit about who Nikki is.
Yeah. I hope.
Was she ever the sort of person who might go away for a night or leave for a few days? You know what I mean?
It's about as far out of character as you could get. I truly mean that. Like, even as a couple, on the odd occasion, if we ever do have a night away from the girls, because the girls are our world. Like, we go out for meals, the girls come with us. Our whole
family.
Yeah, everything that we do is the girls are in it, they're involved in it, and that feels right. That's how we love it. We love our little family. We love our world.
And your gorgeous dog Willow's been spending a bit of time with us as well. And it's also that thing that Willow may well have seen.
There's something I just want to point out here, and it just occurred to me then, and that I might be totally wrong in thinking it, but you see his sleeve here, he's very ironed, his shirt, with the crease in his arm. Do you think he's done that?
I know.
Who's ironed that shirt for him? I know that I shouldn't be sort of sexist in that, but
another layer
of
frustration and hell to it. It's a hellish situation with the layer of hell that not knowing what's happened yet, and then also having Willow.
That's quite strange. We're not knowing what's happened yet. Oh God, I wish Willow could
Who
speak. Oh, Nicola.
probably does know what happened, but she can't tell us, can she? And
She can't tell us, can she? No, thank God for that. She can't tell you. He doesn't. He looks amused by it. He doesn't look sad by it. Has he ever looked sad through this whole interview that we've just watched? Has he ever teared up? Has he ever looked sad? No. And then poor Nicola, God rest her soul. Yeah, not one tear.
she had a very sensitive dog. I did take her back there first thing on the Saturday,
So
the day
the
after.
next day,
The
right.
next day, yeah, I took her back there first
How
thing.
did she react to that then?
Well, I was praying and hoping that once we got to the gate, that she would do something different, you know, just to
Take you somewhere?
Yeah, just give some sign of some kind. But she, bless her, she just went through the gate like any other normal day and ran into the field and looked at me excited that she was there for a walk. I was saying to her, "Where's mummy? Where's mummy?" You know.
Yeah,
And she was
whatever.
just looking at me like, you know, let's go for a walk.
There's been a
Oh, yeah, shame that, isn't it? Look, oh, no. I'm so glad I've watched this because now as I'm coming to the end of it, I can see he just does not give a toss, does he really? So it's like, just then, you know, she just thought, oh, well, she's going for a walk.
a lot of publicity around Nikki's disappearance, isn't there? And I suppose you are one of those stories that is very much talked about on social media at the moment. I don't know whether you've read the stories, the accusations, all the theories that are out there. Does that upset you, or are you happy that people are talking about and trying to find a solution? Or
It would be upsetting, of course, if I let
He
myself
doesn't give a shit.
read it all. Don't get me wrong, I have seen some stuff.
Yeah, you've seen loads of
Most
stuff.
people have been amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you're always going to get that 2% of people.
That just, when he said that all those months ago, and now it's just coming back to me, when he said you're always going to get that 2%, it wasn't 2%, it was 2% of people believed him, and 98% of people thought he'd had something to do with it.
That for whatever reason, you know, say and do not very nice things. But I don't want to give any energy to that. Like, my energy is just finding Nikki. I read one that said,
my energy is just finding Nikki. So yeah, so you sat there for a 2-hour interview with Dan. You're not doing much of finding Nikki. You know, people have been arrested for looking for your wife or your girlfriend. You're sat there saying, I just want to put all my energy into finding Nikki. And really, what energy did you put into finding Nikki? When did he ever go out looking for Nikki?
the police need to look at the partner. And I'm sort of like, well, yeah, that's the first thing that they do. Like, of course it is.
Yeah.
You know, like, I knew that would happen, you know,
I knew that would happen. That always gets me because he's talking about he knew about it before. I knew that would happen, that people would look at the partner. But when did he know?
on the first day.
and you, I
And I
suppose
said-
you expect that, don't you?
I
Yeah.
expected that. I said to them, do it and get that out of the way, and then focus on
Get that out of the way. What, in
finding her
1
and
hour?
focus on the rest of it. So that's exactly what we did. You know, it was that was done, ruled out.
So that's exactly what we did. What we did. Why does he keep talking about we? Surely we, you know, couples talk in we a lot of the time, don't they? We did this and we did that. It's like an instinct. But Nikki is his partner and she's not there now. So when he says we, who is he actually talking about when he's saying we?
Obviously, and then move on. So, you know, whatever, you know, people want to say, and you know, if that's what they want to think, that's their business. It's not mine.
But I know you've also been struck by the amazing response locally, and you know, just being here for today, everybody's talking about it. Everyone's asking how you are, and the local community, whether they're standing out on the street corner or putting posters up or just asking questions, they are doing an amazing job. Yeah,
it's absolutely incredible. Like it's heartwarming. It's given us an immense amount of strength, and it's kept that hope so high. That we can't thank them enough.
How are you keeping it? Is that the kids? Is that your natural positivity?
It's all of those things. Of course it's the children, of course. But I am naturally a positive person, and I believe that you get out of life what you put into life. And that's how we are as a family. And so what we're going through now is like unprecedented hell, but that hope and that positivity in me is stronger than ever, and I'm never, ever going to let go. Nikki would never give up on us, ever. She wouldn't give up on anybody, and we're not going to ever give up on her. Like, we're going to find her.
We were talking earlier, and you were saying that one of the plans you had was to get married during the pandemic, but you sort of, like many people, you had to abandon those plans. Is that something that you think, you know, when she's back, this is what we're doing?
Yeah, he's
laughing then.
Far too laid back sometimes for my own good, but also my attitude is, you know, we'll get around to it. It'll be fine. And so we have obviously spoken about, you know, marriage many times before, and then we had the children. When your children are.
So now he's smiling, but I don't really know why he's smiling. But is it fond memories? Maybe, I don't know.
You know, obviously, you know, it's, you know, all time consuming. And then as they were growing up, we always said when they're a bit older, you know, be a nice time to do it, and they can be a part of it. They can, you know, be the bridesmaids and everything. So that was always the plan. And so, you know, it's just now. You know, it's something we would have obviously, you know, spoken about it and moved forward with again, but.
Yeah, we would have spoken about it. We would, and then he realises and he says, and we will again.
And still will.
We still will, yeah.
There is a chance, isn't there, that somehow she might be out there even watching this. If you could say something to her, what would you say to Nikki now?
Just
sorry.
How much I love her, how much us as a family love her and need her, how well thought of, how much her friends love her, and need her back.
He's shaking his head.
We're never going to be the same until she is back. Just come home.
Are you going to be okay?
Oh, what a ridiculous question.
I will, as long as she comes home. But yeah, I have to be okay for the children.
Yeah, he just can't help but say, you know, yeah, we'll be okay for the children. Oh, sorry. I know there's a couple of you out there probably are thinking, oh, poor guy and what have you, but the longer I go into, I started off trying to think that, and the longer I go into the interview, I just
children.
Can't.
But obviously the hope inside me that she's going to come home, that I can't let myself, you know, think of anything else. It isn't an option in my head. We deserve a happy ending to all of this. You know.
Is it just me, or that's a strange thing to say? Why do they deserve a happy ending more than anybody else? You know, you say you want a happy ending, you're hoping, you're praying for a happy ending. Of course you are. But nobody deserves a happy ending. Nobody. You know, unless you're like, but even if you're, you know, Mr. or Miss Perfect, how do you deserve a happy ending?
You can't have this level of support, this level of love, and compassion and hope and prayers without getting the reward from that. In my mind, that is impossible. You know, when you think of all the hope and everything that's going out there, it has to come back. And that has to bring her home.
I really appreciate you talking to us. I know it's impossibly difficult. You've described your life at the minute as a living hell. I hope what you said makes a difference as well. And I think everybody watching this will join me in saying that we all hope that Nikki comes home and that she is safe and well and you can be back together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Once again, here are the numbers.
So there you go. Now, I'm glad I watched it again, and I'm glad we've all watched it together. I've probably missed quite a lot of your comments, etc. You know, what do we think? I think I know what a lot of you think, not everybody. But yeah, Jackie, we don't know if he was paid or not. We don't know if he was paid for that interview. I think he probably was, because otherwise I really don't understand this. That interview, I think, was Paul's biggest mistake as far as the public's eyes were concerned, because that gave people even more reason to suspect him, because it just didn't come over right. As much as they tried to make it come over right, and as much as it was edited, and as much as Emma was behind him telling him what to say, you know, it didn't come over right, did it? It was a big mistake that he made, because it made him look even worse in the eyes of the public, rightly or wrongly. And, you know, I really do think, I don't think the public look to think bad of people deliberately. I don't think people watch things, and I think people tend to watch things on the news and they don't really take much notice, do they? You know, they're half listening to it, and then suddenly something attracts their attention, and then they hone in on it, and then they think, oh, hang on a minute, there's something wrong here. That's what happened with Paul. So I do think that was the worst mistake that it's made. But we'll find out at the inquest a little bit more, hopefully. We'll find out. We don't know her cause of death of Charlie yet. We don't know until the inquest, the result of the inquest. And I don't know, Linwen, why do you think Emma was there telling him what to do? Emma, of course, was there telling him what to do, because he actually indicated towards her several times. So she was there telling him what to do. And Lisa, you're right, there were bruises on Nicola's arm in that, when she had the t-shirt on for helping kids for charity. I personally think in that photo of her with the lamb, which is the heartbreaking photo, that she may have had traces of a black eye, but I don't know. There'll be people there in that village, and people that know Paul and Nikki, that will know if there was any arguments, you know, going on. People will know it. So okay, so that's it now. There was something else that I wanted to say. So yeah, every night probably I'll be going live leading up to the inquest, because at the end of the day, we've got 6 more sunrises, so tomorrow we'll have 5 more sunrises, looking over interviews, looking over things that made us suspicious, because it's been so quiet for so long. I think we have to remember why we were suspicious, because I don't know about you, but several times I thought, oh, maybe I'm misjudging him or whatever. And then I watched that interview and I think, no, it is so wrong. It's so wrong. And if you can't see it, I don't understand why people can't see it, but you have to respect people's point of view. Everyone's got a point of view. And I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times, but normally I'm not wrong when it comes to getting instincts from people. For me, with Paul, it's like maybe he didn't actually do anything to Nicola, like in the sense of actually took her away from this world, but there was definitely issues there, and I don't think he treated her very well. And I do not think he got upset at all, or he was even really at all upset. I know he's trying to keep it all together, but you know, comes a point when you can't keep it all together, no matter how hard you try. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. And don't forget what happened to Dan Walker the day after that interview. He was knocked off his bike, and it was supposedly going to court, etc. He was knocked off his bike by a big black car or what. No, that's never been mentioned since. If you notice this in the media, they talk about things. 1 minute it's all you see on the news, and then suddenly it disappears and nobody ever talks about it again. You don't get to know what actually happened. So we still don't know what the outcome of that was. I need to research that maybe tomorrow. But oh, David, I think Mr. Aidley does have this, ladies. But I do know. Well, I'll tell you for sure on Monday. I do think, you know, James Aidley, whether he has Nicola's best interest at heart, don't know. But at the end of the day, that's his reputation that's at stake. So he will do the best he can. He won't want a load of things, you know, being criticised, etc. Unlike the other guy, Andrew Snowden, who doesn't give a shit, basically. He doesn't care about Nicola Bulley or care about anyone. He just cares about his career. Chumba, your 87-year-old dad told me to dye your hair because you look old. What colour? What colour has he told you to dye it? Aye. Okay, right, so thank you so much for watching. There was a lot of you on here tonight. I really appreciate all of you. And you know what, Lisa, that's what I think this inquest will be hard for the mum and dad. I mean, it'd be hard for everyone, but it'd be especially hard for a mum and dad and a sister, I think. It'll be traumatic. So that's why I'm hoping that it all goes without incident. You know, they've limited, obviously, the numbers, haven't they? And tomorrow, everybody will be, anyone who's been accepted to attend the inquest, they'll get their notifications tomorrow if they've not already had them. And if they haven't got them by tomorrow, they won't be able to go to the inquest. Do you know what, Essex Boys Out Loud? I haven't seen those photos, but I will have a look because I used to quite like that channel, but I've sort of I just don't know why I haven't watched any of the channels for a while now. But no, but I will have a look. What were the photos of? Anyway, don't matter. I'll have a look myself. So Chumby, your dad's 87. He looks about 60. Well, then I hope at 87 I look 60. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Thank you, Jackie. So all I would ask of all of you, if you haven't already done it, if you don't mind liking the video as you go out, that's a big help to me. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Do you know, Jackie's saying it's a great live. Jackie's one of my members, and she's, you know, very sort of good herself with investigating stuff and that. It's quite strange because when I teach Spanish, I'm always, you know, with one-to-one with people. Like when I'm doing a live or any video really, I'm looking at myself. At the moment, I'm looking at my avatar, but sometimes I'm looking at a picture of myself. But I can't see you. I can only, you know, read your comments or whatever. So it's lovely when I get a comment like that and I know people have enjoyed it. That's what makes it all worthwhile. Even just a thumbs up makes it all worthwhile. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe and I'll be happy with that. I love pink hair as well, 411. I love it. I did have pink hair very briefly. I think it was before lockdown actually. But hi, Maria. Oh, thank you, Essex Boys Outlaw. Yeah, ping the like button. I will see you tomorrow. I'll definitely be on tomorrow. And oh, thank you, David. Good night. And I will see you. Right. What do I always say? What do you always have to do? Live and love very carefully and wisely. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Thank you ever so much. Thank you.